am. Like,
see, this is what I mean. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how this process works.
Thinking like
he doesn't know how this process works. He thinks that that documentation is the only.
Like,
see, this is what I mean. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how this process works.
Thinking like
he doesn't know how this process works. He thinks that that documentation is the only way to conclusively prove that there is like fraud happening there or not, implying that that documentation was actually stolen by the business owner himself. Once again, the government has access to every single person and every single child's information. That's not the only form of evidence that the government has. The reality of the matter is, if they wanted to prosecute that place, as I'm sure they will, right?
Yeah,
they'll
so
investigate the
I mean, what about the fact that they were investigated again? Your place gets broken into, and then they happen to steal all the records. I'm sorry, but if you think that's anything besides fraud,
do you think that those records are the only way to
please stop
investigate this
I
place?
also want universal health care.
Do you realize how
any
a
degree
of these programs work?
I also want to expand social systems, but we
once
can't
again,
do that in
not,
America if you keep
once
importing
again,
people
not
that are net
saying
negatives
this
and
isn't
scammers.
the case.
You can't do it.
You
can have mass
you are
migration of
simply
third-worlders,
speculating.
or you can have robust social systems. Choose. Now, in my opinion,
do you think that those records are the only way to investigate this place? Do you realize how any of these programs work? Once again, not saying this isn't the case. You are simply speculating.
If you don't like that, too bad. So anyway, listen, let me go back down. I'll look at a few more of these. Worked in 20 years in law enforcement. Never in my years have I come across a case where they break in and just steal documents. It's obvious. It's obvious. Like, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence. Like, do you think they're going to just come out and say, I'm scamming?
Update for CNN law enforcement. Child care centers at the center of Nick Shirley's video were operating as expected when visited by investigators. The Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Family said children were present on all sites except for one. That site was not yet open. The agency gathered evidence and initiated further review, noting the investigation into 4 centers were ongoing. The report by Minneapolis DCYF said.
Reduced to being a chatter. Do you think the records are only way to investigate the place to realize any of the programs work? Once again, I'm not saying this case. You're just simply speculating. Okay.
The government has access to the information of every single parent, and not only every single parent, but also government has access to the info of all children and their parents' financial status.
If you had to guess.
What did he ask? I didn't even hear it. What did he say?
Government access to all the info of the children and the parents' financial status? Exactly. The government's in on it. That's why they should be charged too as accomplices. Mm-hmm. What's the percentage?
Wait, if he actually believes that, then wait, what do you mean? What's the percentage?
Sorry.
These places have
what's the percentage?
Income qualifications. They can't.
Bro, their daycare is their own house.
Subsidies.
I know.
Without the government looking at the parents' background, this would. What is this? Hasan, percentage of speculation? What is the question that he asked me? These places have income qualifications. They can't get subsidies without the government looking at the parents' background.
We'll give it a little bit longer.
What was the question he asked?
We'll give it a little bit longer. But no, I think he does bring up a good point. The government does have access to this. That's why there has to be a federal investigation. I think that what's happening is that they're directing the federal government to not go after these people because they want to secure the votes from this community. I think that's what's happening.
Why don't we talk then?
You have to check with the chat first. I mean, I feel like it's such a simple
boomer
question. Right?
To type fast.
Why don't we talk then? No, I'm not. We're not gonna. Oh my god, bro, you're in the chat. Can you stop?
Are you worried?
Oh my god.
We agree. No.
It's just a simple percentage.
Stop begging.
Jesus. No, really? I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to go and argue with you about this or whatever. Because again, if you look at all of the evidence presented and you don't come to the conclusion that there is like a 99% chance that this is a scam, you're lying. You're lying. You're obviously lying. It's so clear.
Uh-oh. They're all saying he's a pussy now. Uh-oh.
Such a debate. Yeah, it's not a debate. That's why I asked about the percentage.
What is the question that he asked me about the percentage? I didn't hear it. What was the question?
I give him space to no, it's okay. It's he's a communist, right? Everybody gets their own space.
What was the question about the percentage?
He can't. It's against his beliefs. He answered.
Speculate on the probability of fraud.
Let me see if it did. Kind of feels like you don't want to dunk on me easy style. No, I just don't like debating. I don't debate about video games. And again, you're going to try and do the strategy. Listen, Hasan, you are the Jake Paul of debates. You have no problem gassing yourself up, talking about how much you want to debate me or debate some other, as you like to call them, slop tuber.
Watch. He's going to say
But
Destiny.
whenever it comes time to debate Ben Shapiro on capitalism or debate Destiny, for some reason, you don't really have that same attitude. So I don't really want to hear about, oh, yeah, I want to debate you. You're going to come in and be the big guy and everything like that.
I did want to debate Ben Shapiro. Barry Weiss pulled it very publicly. I don't know why. I don't know why you're saying that.
I did want to debate Ben Shapiro. Barry Weiss pulled it. Because they wanted to debate on something else.
Oh! Barry Weiss publicly said I need to be deplatformed.
Hasan, did you see what I said about that?
I need to be deplatformed.
Because I did cover it. I talked about it. Did you see it? Barry Weiss publicly said I needed to be deplatformed. Yeah, but did you see what I said?
No, I didn't see what he said. Again, he's only able to talk because he can at least control the narrative a little bit in this circumstance. But he can't control it if we're having a back and forth conversation. Even a couple statements immediately cause him to back away from his initial claims, right? And this is the reason why he wants to control the narrative. He wants to make sure that, like, at most, he will respond to me chatting in his chat. Okay?
Is probably so much worse than you can even imagine. This fraud is insane bad. And I don't think that it's just with these daycares. I think it is with the entire government, healthcare. It's with healthcare. It's with health and human services. It's with food stamps. It's with welfare. It's with tax write-offs. It is everything. And if we had in my opinion, I think that we are spending close to, if not over, $1 trillion on fraud every single year. And if you don't believe me... Oh, timed out? What is this here? I think Minnesota fraud is abysmal, a byproduct of private partnerships. I want it all to be combated. Okay, good. Then that's fine. Great. Then we're on the same side.
Hyper-focusing on...
Stop trying to make this an argument about...
No, claiming that...
Like, okay, great, good. We're on the same side. That's amazing. I'm happy.
Parasites.
Good.
Are the... Claiming that third world parasites are coming in to do
here we go.
Fraud.
Yes, and no, I might look at this in a minute. But...
Claiming that third world parasites are coming in to do fraud
is
the issue
I have with I think that
your
it is so
claim.
Much worse than what people realize. Like, I grew up, I don't know really,
Hasan
like, Hasan was in Turkey for a while. I'm claiming that third world parasites are coming to do fraud is the issue I have with your claim.
The overwhelming majority of migrants
claiming third world parasites are coming in to do fraud.
Exist and work alongside
then maybe they should
everyone
stop doing
else. There will always
when
be
these people
fraud
go and they advocate for racial ethnic voting. They stay inside of their own community. They don't assimilate into America. They send money back home to Somalia that funds terrorism.
This is all just made.
And then on top of that, there will always be fraudsters. They should be jailed, of course. The overwhelming majority of migrants just want to exist and work alongside everyone else. Okay, great. Well, if you think that, then why are you trying to lump in and then take the... Oh, geez. I'm debating with Hasan now. I just realized
claiming
you got
they're
me.
coming
you actually
to
got
do
me.
fraud.
Okay, I can't. I said it was like two messages.
Evidence.
I've actually... Christ.
Migrants coming to do
one more,
fraud.
and then I'm gonna move on. Okay, you got baited. No, I've been baited. He did get me. So okay, all the migrants want to work alongside everybody else. That's great. That's lovely. That's amazing. That's really nice. So don't launder the good reputation of all those migrants that want to look good and work with everybody else and have no problems. Don't launder their reputation through these Somalian scammers. Don't do it, because I agree with you.
Doing that.
You know I'm not anti-immigration.
I'm
the
not
only
one.
I think some people should be able to come over here for sure, but it needs to be in the best interest of American citizens. And right now it's not. When you have these people come in and you're scamming the system, they're getting these massive amounts of welfare. It's going to a private daycare in their own house. They have
I like that he is, by the way, he is just like working his way up to just describing how racism works, right?
How many people we could help that are Americans if we were able to take that money and give it to them. And I'm not saying I hate Somalians. I don't hate any of that. You don't want to say third world parasites coming to do fraud? Yeah, exactly, because they are. What else do you call it? 89% are on welfare. What is that? Why are we bringing people in just so we can give them welfare? We have people here that are on welfare. I drove by I was like on the highway.
American citizens.
I'm driving by on the highway. I see a homeless veteran on the highway. He's got a sign painted the American flag. I've got to see this guy live on the street while they're living in a mansion. This isn't fair. And now I'm debating again.
They're American citizens, number one. I don't even know if the 89 claim is correct or not, for the record.
Stop defending the indefensible. What you guys are doing right now is the same as you were criticizing MAGA people for doing for Epstein.
My argument.
Not everything has two sides.
I'm not. You're strawmanning my argument.
In the same way that I supported and I agreed with you with what you were saying with Epstein, I'm not. You're strawmanning my argument. Well, you're mad at the way that I'm saying it. I don't think it really matters. Personally, you want to say it matters. I don't really get it.
And see me
The point
typing.
is the problem.
I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to say...
They're not healing anything you say, and you can't type and listen at the same time. Sure. And anyway, just stop debating. That's what he does. Just stop talking to him. Yes,
his whole audience is like, stop debating him. Stop debating him. I wonder why. I wonder why they're upset.
If you go and you see any of this stuff, you go around in Austin or anything else, it is really, really bad. And I think that you're right that the Somali thing is not that big. It is the tip of the iceberg.
Oh!
It is not even the tip of the iceberg. It is the seagull on the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, interesting.
It is massive.
Because you've spent 76 hours just talking about third world parasites.
It's in the IRS. It's
Every
in food stamps.
Moment
it's in
that
everything.
You spend implying
and it shouldn't be defended
that
just because it's a bunch of
immigrants
people that are migrants or immigrants or from any other community
to do fraud.
But to say that there is not a problem with bringing in a bunch of people that are 89% on some sort of welfare, that's a problem.
Of fraud done by Somalis.
It's
done
fraud.
in let's say
if you don't see, somebody broke into the building and they stole all the documents.
You're doing Elon's
I wonder
propaganda for him.
Anyway, so yes.
Every moment that you spend implying that immigrants are coming to do fraud by pointing to a hyper-specific instance of fraud done in Minnesota is a moment you're doing Elon's propaganda for him.
Around the idea
Elon Musk is the immigrant that is doing fraud. Elon Musk
I think that really, if there are people defending this that were not, people like Americans doing this, or like some random Mormon community doing this, I think that everybody would be, together agreeing that it's very bad. But because it's a minority community that is an immigrant community, there are people that are just categorically defending them for that reason.
That 89% is false. Probing Trump's verbal attack on Somalis. 84% of individuals reporting Somali ancestry in Minnesota, not just Somali.
They live in beautiful mansions, so many Americans can't afford a house. Exactly.
Provided to us showing 84% of individuals reporting Somali ancestry in Minnesota, not just Somali immigrants benefit from
I don't think that I really have the alignment there. I think there's a big problem.
Mute him when you talk, please. Wait, he's reading it. I think he's reading what I said.
Don't find a fraud like them. Yeah, I think there's a degree of that.
Have you ever seen an episode of Law and Order? Criminals often try to obscure evidence.
It's important to be able to find the fraud, but to put the blame on the people that are being defrauded, I think is basically victim blaming. And that's the reason why you go to a CVS and everything's locked up. That's the entire reason why you go to a CVS,
and I'll donate to your charity of choice.
CVS. It's because all of these people like, oh yeah, well, you know, you shouldn't have done that. Absolutely not that. How much percent of fraud do you think Somalis commit in the United States? Probably, I would say less than 1 to 2%. Maybe maybe a little bit higher than that.
Not even. That's crazy.
Very, very like if you're asking like if it's a percentage,
that's insane.
A very, very low percent. I think that they are committing a very low percent. Now, per
Bro
capita,
can't debate loss to a Jewish comedian. H3H Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro would annihilate him. Well, can't do the Charlie Kirk one anymore, but definitely down to do Ben Shapiro. You guys can keep fantasizing about it though.
But this is the reason why I supported Doge. Like, I feel like government wasting
Zach
money
Watcher
is just
here,
a huge
but I do think that it's unfair that he can talk and you have to type. Even if I disagree with you, he should talk to you. There we go.
They're pissed off at Elon Musk because he saved free speech and investigated fraud with Doge. Well, they didn't even do enough of that. Yeah, come on, man. These people are not smart enough to pull this off alone. The government are the ones enabling the fraud.
He's actively trying to move away from reading my comments now.
This is part of the reward structure. Is that the government
I respect
allows
you
this
trying to get a dialogue going. Asmon has shown to his audience he's a coward. I think that there are definitely a lot of people in his audience that will look at this and think Asmongold is being a little cowardly. Is Kai still alive, bro? Show us the shot collar, bro. She's dead. I killed her. And I think there will be some people in there that'll just like engage in self-soothing behavior. Especially because like the moment that we start talking, if you noticed, he said he agreed with me quite a bit. And that's precisely the problem here. He doesn't want to have a conversation where he will be forced to concede on a lot of the things, because a lot of the things that he said about what my positions are wrong. So if his audience saw what my actual position was here, and then actually he had to sit there and defend what he's saying in front of someone who is a little bit more knowledgeable about what's going on in Minnesota, he would have to fold, because immediately he would be like, well, yeah, we agree, as he did, right? You're getting really good at debating. I wonder how the Clippers are going to spin him ducking you. They'll say Asmongold destroyed Hasan or something like that. What is this? I watch you both for different reasons. What needs to happen is you listen to what he's saying now and actually respond later, because he's assuming you're listening even though you're engaging in your chat. Honest opinion. Why won't he just talk to me directly then? This is what doesn't make any sense, because I'm willing to have this conversation. He's the only one who doesn't want to have this conversation. And I think like
specific group, I think that for Somalians, like, yeah, they are voting as a block, but the reality is that this would happen anywhere. And I think that there is a unspoken rule kind of that keep the gravy going and we're going to keep voting for you. And it's ironically another version of Republicans cutting taxes for rich people and then rich people continuing to fund Republicans. So the problem really
is
that
like
when
one of my worst qualities as far as like debating or whatever, one of my worst qualities is unironically that I'm very, I'm very conciliatory in my tone whenever I have this kind of conversation with people, even if I completely oppose their worldview. So the irony is, like, I wouldn't be looking for easy dunks or anything like that. I just want to actively have, genuinely, like, people yell at me all the time in my own community. If you're in here for the first time ever, you'll know this, but people actually come to my community and yell at me all the time because I always try to engage in good faith when I have these sorts of conversations. And I think that, like, clip farming as a meta actually destroys any kind of good faith that could potentially happen. It makes it much easier. It makes it much easier to frame your opposition's argument as something that it actually isn't, right? And that's what it is. Like, that's what he would rather continue to do. And the more I write in his chat, and the more that his community sees that, some will say it's good that you're actually not talking to him, King. We don't want you to feel insecure about your worldview. We don't want to feel insecure about our worldview. But there will be plenty of people who go, I think there should be open dialogue between the two, right? He talks about me every day. Yeah, there will be guys who go, Roach King 1, Hasan, dog abuser 0, you know?
It's still human trafficking and kidnapping. Yeah, I think so too. And I think that they need to take, this is an issue. Maybe Hasan will agree with this. I think that they need to take the people that are employing these illegal aliens. They need to do a discovery process on their personal and work computers and correspondence surrounding work. And if any of them acknowledge or express a reality or a knowledge information that they are knowingly employing these illegal aliens, I would like to see them charged for human trafficking. I would, because that's effectively what they're doing. And until we have these business owners, and I'm very frustrated about this. You want me to be honest that ICE is not doing that. But I think ICE should also be doing that, because I don't really, and this is another thing, is that I don't have any genuine animosity for Somalians. I don't have any genuine animosity for Mexicans or any other people from South America or the Congo or Haiti or any of these people that are coming over here, right? I actually don't. I know a lot of other people do, and you know, this is a contentious viewpoint that I have, but my viewpoint with it is actually very simple. I don't actually hate these people. I don't dislike them.
Stop it, you clown.
I just understand that they're coming here, and by doing so, they're causing us problems. But I don't view them as inherently bad or evil people. I don't disagree, but the solution is documenting people and then punishing business owners. But shifting the blame to migrant workers helps the owners get away with the two-tier labor system that depresses wages. Well, I think that really it's... So this is Hasan. That's Hasan said that. I agree with you, actually. I do. I don't agree, because the migrant workers are definitely to blame to an extent. Like, you're talking about workers. We're not talking about Somalians at this point, right? It's the workers. I agree.
I said this is the problem with clip watching, because this is my actual position.
Basically, like, think about it like this, right? It's a carrot on a stick.
You have the donkey, you freaking out. He's such a bitch. Wait, what? Am I freaking out?
Carrot. They're the ones putting the carrot out there. They're the ones that are creating the incentive for all of these people to come and overrun America and depress down all of our wages. And then here's the other big problem, is that these people come here, they have a bunch of kids.
I think blaming
they also bring sometimes their relatives. They're living off of the government.
Wanting
and
a better
especially
life,
through things.
Just like your
sorry, I read something. Especially through things that are like
did when they came here totally is wrong.
Like food stamps, for example, or education system. They do cost the taxpayer a lot of money. You know, these illegal aliens do. And they don't do it directly, but they do it also through things like identity theft, which is extremely common. Like, it was a very, like, I even knew people that knew people, I'm not going to get into specifics here, who would regularly go down to, Hasan's been to Austin. It's like Riverside. It's like the other side of I-35, right? It's like on the other side of like downtown.
Why is this go-to response? I agree, but not actually agreeing. I don't know.
There's not as many now anymore.
I said, I think blaming people for wanting a better life, just like your great-grandparents did when they came here, is wrong and helps the billionaires keep this current broken system alive.
And their social security numbers, and because the
Hasan gay R-word redeemed highlighted message.
They would take care of these kids, or sorry, not take care of. They would claim these kids to get extra tax refunds, and then split the refund money with the parents. And this is the kind of stuff that, unless you've seen this stuff happen, you don't even realize that it's happening. That's it. East 1st to 15th Street, exactly.
Should have watched this. If Zach wasn't such a screener, you could maybe have a conversation with Hasan and realize they have more common ground than he realizes.
The business owners are the...
Nah, Hasan, they can get my country, so can you go back to Turkey?
Of the migration. If it wasn't for the business owners paying these people under the table, they wouldn't be here. That's the facts. That's 100% true. It happened to me.
Mega gay R-word.
100% on that point as well. A lot of families still do this. Of course they would. Why would they not do this? And this is the problem that I have, is that I think that there are a lot of shared values and like common goals that even Hasan and I have.
This is how Asmongold presents himself as like a reasonable centrist, for the record, I think. But he's living up.
Scams and is
very different
really
attitude overall than what he was saying yesterday. You know what I mean? Like the parasitic migrants and all.
So yeah, I'd want to. Hopefully there can be an alignment on these actual scams,
in the chat?
Making sure that we have actual Americans, real Americans that are getting this money.
Yeah, free Kaya.
Real Americans. Imagine that.
We don't need immigrants. Our economy is not expanding fast enough. Current population, the American people struggling to find jobs. Oh my God,
yeah, billions of dollars. You really think it's the worst place is Minnesota? Give me a break. We can also see what happens if you flood the market with new workers, looking at the effect on women beginning to work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details about that, but I could see that being the case, sure. That's why I watch you.
You need to be a chatter, you need to check logs.
The thing is that if you want to deal with the problem, you have to approach it from like 10 different ways. You don't just approach it from one way. You have to over $1 billion. Those committing fraud in Minnesota will be caught and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
There are no real Americans, which I meant. He meant the Europeans. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, if you are anti-fraud, as I am, you wouldn't be hyper-focusing on
the Republican,
the entire Somali community that you are suspecting of doing fraud, implying that every single Somali person that's come here is actually a third worldist, like a third world parasite, simply here to steal funds. Okay? That's it. The reality of the matter is, even in terms of like, keep pressing him, especially on the women going into the workforce, it destroys in his Chad's tradwife stance. I don't even know what he's talking about there. HasanAbi, you worked your entire life on your fake image just to destroy it all by shocking your dog. You R-word. Bah ha 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 ha. Yeah, no, everyone hates me now. The thing about HasanAbi is that he's really like, and then, but also those, but then again, anyway, so that's kind of it. Nice. Wow, owned. He said women starting the working flood the market like immigrants. Wait, what? Let's see what else he's talking about.
It, and then I got distracted. Where did it go? There was a video about this, and I don't know where the hell it is.
He banned me before I could answer his questions. Thanks for going in the chat. Look at what I was trying to get. Anyway, all right. Well, he's off talking about. A chatter implied if Adolf Slop played dumb to appease. Wait, what? Yeah. The point is it's not 89% on welfare, it's only 8%. Scroll down and see the Somalis on welfare. No, they're saying that benefited from the specific public assistance program, mostly Medicaid. So it's not even like welfare in the sense that they think it is. It's just Medicaid, right? But worth noting, Bowser said 95% of Somalis in Minnesota are citizens of the United States and 58% of them were born in the U.S. Okay? February report from the Libertarian Cato Institute using a different methodology found that immigrants consume 21% less welfare and entitlement benefits than native-born Americans on a per capita basis in 2022. That report looked at the percentage of total dollar amount of spending on benefits for immigrants and U.S.-born residents and accounted fewer means-tested programs as welfare and also included Social Security and Medicare, which are considered entitlement programs. The CIS report said that in 2022, 54% of households headed by immigrants, including naturalized citizens, legal permanent residents, and people without legal status, use one or more major welfare program. The problem with this report is, do you believe that people who are naturalized citizens are American citizens? Do you believe that people who are born, okay, do you believe that people who are born with Somali ancestry but are born on U.S. soil are American citizens or not? Now, the reality of the matter is, for programs like the CIS, they try to claim that American citizens, natural-born U.S. citizens, are actually not real U.S. citizens because they were born to one or two families or one or two parents that are either undocumented or, not an American citizen at all. Okay? That's the issue. That's the problem. Those people are American citizens. And the entitlement programs are claiming that this is just welfare is also silly because it's like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, things like that. And the idea is like, what? What are we supposed to do? If someone is of Somali descent, even if they are an American citizen, that they shouldn't have access to Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security? Ridiculous. These are programs that they're actually paying into. That's how Social Security works, for example. It's just plain racism. Okay? That's it. The way you predicted what Asmon would say. What is it?
Listen, Hasan, you are the Jake Paul of debates. You have no problem gassing yourself up, talking about how much you want to debate me or debate some other, as you like to call them, slop tuber.
Watch. He's going to say
But
Destiny.
whenever it comes time to debate Ben Shapiro on capitalism or debate Destiny, for some reason...
The reason why he said Destiny is because, one, Destiny's banned on this platform, and two, he has run a fairly nefarious cyber stalking operation against me for the last six, seven years. Okay? That doesn't mean that I'm not going to debate someone who has an opinion that is different than mine. I debate people that don't agree with my worldview with regular frequency, including high-profile people who debate all the time, including wanting to debate Ben Shapiro as well. But the reason why he said Destiny is because he's afraid of actually talking to Destiny. He could. He's a kick streamer, just like Destiny is, right? But he doesn't want to, so he'll just offer a alley-oop to Destiny's audience. Also, bringing up Charlie Kirk in this situation is really up because I was about to debate Charlie Kirk and then he got killed. You know, that's not my fault. I was slated to debate him. It's ironic because, like, this also implies that he is just, like, not very smart. He's basically saying, like, oh, you want to debate me because I'm not very smart and can't actually hold, you know, my worldview does not stand if questioned. You're such an absolute demonstrable clown. You go into Asma's chat, bait him into a debate, not listen to a single word he said while typing and talking, reading your own chat, misrepresenting everything you said during the 1% of the time. Brother, you are a stan. Okay? Like, you're crying. You're crying in the chat. You're crying at the behest of Asmongold, who seemingly didn't even have that bad of an experience when I was writing in his chat. Like, think about how pathetic this is. Where is the lie? Think about how pathetic that you're like a Barb, dude. You're a Nicki Minaj stan. I cannot believe you're in this chat right now crying. I'm pathetic. Yes, this entire thing that you typed out is the most pathetic thing I have ever encountered. Ha. Okay. Like, why are you defending? Why are you defending a thing that Asmongold is not even defending, right? He doesn't have an issue with it, seemingly. Like, you have a parasocial experience here where you think, like, you hurt my favorite content creator's feelings. I am going to go into your chat and be like, pathetic. You didn't listen to him. Like, that's crazy. Like, think. He has every opportunity to have a normal conversation. It's not like I'm baiting him into debate. I'm typing in his chat. He wants to have some level of power in this conversation. It's not like I'm a tiny random guy either. You know, this is my realm of interest. This is what I've been doing for years and years. Clearly, I guess I have a lot of points of agreement with Asmongold, at least the way that he was. You definitely didn't hurt his feelings. Okay, but why are your feelings hurt? You know? Why are your feelings hurt? Is it that scary to have a little bit of pushback for your point of view? Is it that scary for your favorite content creator to have a little bit of pushback whatsoever, or maybe even points of agreement? And even when he obviously wanted to control the flow, even when he obviously wanted to control the narrative to the best of his ability by reducing me to typing in his chat instead of just like calling me on Discord, right? Even then, it was so much. It was such an emotional experience for you that you found yourself here crying about the perceived feelings of your favorite content creator when seemingly he wasn't that offended. Just a little bit of pushback, and he backed away from like 3 different points that he had presented. That's perhaps the reason why he doesn't want to have a conversation like this. I see this as like you wanting to remain in an echo chamber, in a hug box, you not wanting to have these sorts of opinions be tested at all. Okay? That's it. You don't want the bubble to burst. And it hurts your feelings and you start crying and you lash out like a baby. I mean, that's what happened. You didn't like hearing your favorite content creator go, yeah, I think me and Hasan agree on a lot. And that's why you had to come in here and lash out. Don't worry. He'll continue to look at clips of me that he yells about and farm it as drama over and over again. Lash out. Yep, you're right. I'm crying right now. You're not. Lash out. Does it seem? You do understand that you can see my face and see what I'm saying and how I'm communicating right now. It's very strange. You know, there's 30,000 people in here. They can all see me, right? I don't know if you're like typing with your eyes closed or something. Anyway, it's dick riding. Anyway, chatter might be blind. Comments on YouTube already calling Asmongold out. Yeah, because I think for a lot of these guys, they do also want like the blood sport, right? They want to see like the excitement. They want to see the excitement. They want to see Asmongold dominate me, right? Because he keeps saying I'm stupid. So if I'm actually stupid, I should be easy to destroy. So I don't think they enjoy it when he presents me as like a stupid guy, but then he backs away from actually having any sort of discourse, any sort of back and forth in an environment that he can't completely control. So understandably, his audience is going to feel some type of way about that. Partially because, like, I mean, there are people in his community that think maybe he's a centrist or maybe he has like reasonable positions or whatever. And a lot of those people are going to turn around and go, you know what? I don't know. I would have liked to see him have a conversation with Hasan.
To me, I just simply don't like. This has always been something that I've learned. I learned this like when I was very young, is that never exist inside of a frame that other people put you in. Never let other people dictate the terms of engagement. Never let other people decide the way that you should be doing things. Always do things the way that you want to do them, and then everybody else can exist as an orbiter around that. And if they don't like that...
Yeah, this is a way to reframe. This is a way to reframe an objectively cowardly position, but as a position of power. Okay? That's what he's doing. Like, this is him being like, yeah, I actually am super powerful and taking control over my own life. But we'll never win on these talks. So Asman, XG Train is all the same stuff. And then the chat have to deal with losers in chat. Oh, no, dude. Is your life destroyed? You have to deal with losers? Buddy, you think I have to go through on a daily basis? At least you have your anonymity.
That's too bad. No, I have no interest and no desire
also,
to debate.
I don't give a and I'm fine taking heat. I'm fine tanking all the I'm fine taking all the aggro. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the conversation that we're having is not simple drama. Because when you are a political commentator, as Asmongold is, and you spend every waking moment consistently farming the idea that like every single Somali is coming here to harm America, to steal our tax dollars, to steal our subsidies, to come in here from the third world as like parasites. When you say that to a massive audience, you're conditioning your massive audience into hating the other. You're conditioning your massive audience into believing that every single Somali person is actually a parasitic person. Okay, so that's the reason why I eat that with regular frequency, because I think it's important to address that that is a ridiculous point of view. And I guess I'm one of them, the people from this community who thinks that he's a centrist but should have debated. I will criticize him on that. Yeah, and every single time this kind of stuff happens, there are plenty of Asmongold fans who will go, wait a minute, why won't you talk to this guy? You say he's an idiot. I want you to destroy him. I thought you had a reasonable centrist position. Now you're saying you agree with him. That's it. Because like this kind of commentary over how like, oh, I just refuse to have this kind of conversation with these people will come across as like a position of power for some. Okay. He won't debate you because you constantly lie. You implied he's a pedophile. What kind of honest conversation do you think he could have? Anyone to expect to have a person like you? This is also the maximum cope. When I made a joke about Texas going after any sort of anime in people's hard drives, that was a joke. Everybody understood that to be a joke. Okay. Since then, Asmongold has consistently talked about how I'm a dangerous terrorist that needs to be prosecuted. That's actually real threats, especially at a time when I was under scrutiny by the Department of Homeland Security, for example. So the notion that there's any sort of reason for Asmongold to think that I won't be courteous to him when I have always been incredibly courteous to him, regardless of whatever he said about me, to a degree where even my chat yells at me all the time and say, oh my God, why are you being so charitable to Asmongold? Okay. He knows that. He knows that that conversation will not be about like looking for dunks.
Anybody. And by the way, for all of these people saying like, oh, I don't want to debate because I'm so stupid, I don't even debate video game stuff. I don't even debate World of Warcraft stuff. I just don't like debating. I don't debate anybody about anything. Hasan picks and chooses his fights. He's like Jake Paul of debating. So he's not going to
was his banger take. He's like
go
the Jake
out and
Paul
box somebody who's actually like a really good fighter because you saw what happened.
Once again, I have debated so many right-wing commentators like throughout my entire political commentary career. Again, this is a lie, right? But I can't actually respond to him because we're not having a back and forth conversation. Because if we had a back and forth conversation, I could say from the likes of Ann Coulter to Larry Elder to numerous right-wing commentary people who have actually ducked me in the past, whether it be Steven Crowder at the peak of his career, now he's irrelevant, or Ben Shapiro time and time again, or even Jordan Peterson. There was a point where I was supposed to debate Jordan Peterson, backed away from that. So that is the reason why he likes this format. Because when he says that, his audience goes, oh, he's right. Hasan does duck all these things, right? Hasan does duck all these people. And they'll never check. It's not like they're going to see it. It's not like they're going to turn around and think to themselves, wait a minute, Hasan was supposed to debate Charlie Kirk 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk got shot, you know? It's the same principle behind someone claiming that I just sit indoors all day, right? And I don't do anything else, right? I only sit indoors and I never actually leave my house. Yeah, sure, you can say that and maybe even get like a viral tweet off, but the reality of the matter is very different, right? And if you don't have any investment or any care or any consideration for what the truth is, then you'll just keep believing this wrong thing. And when you have so many of these people, right, whether it be XQC or whether it be numerous other content creators who also hate my guts for one reason or another, also advancing this narrative, then I'm only one person, right? I'm only one person to try and combat the false framing here, and I really can't do that on my own, right? And that's the problem. Because a lot of the non-political or apolitical or centrist or even self-described liberal content creators also play a formative role in establishing this false narrative. And when people hear that from not one, not two, but 10 different people, and they don't actually think critically about this and go, wait a minute, we've seen this guy even in like negatively framed clips outside getting shot at by cops or at the Zohran Mamdani rally or interviewing people all around the world. When they don't even think about it like that, where they go, nah, this guy actually never goes outside. And then that becomes the meta. What is this? Pending, banned on Twitch. He's built a cyberstalking community against Hasan along with collaborating with Nazis just to form allegiance to attack and threaten Hasan. And yes, I mean, it's not just me either. Genuinely curious about Destiny. Have you debated him before? Yes, Destiny and I used to be friends, as a matter of fact, for a brief period of time when I first got on Twitch, when I thought he was, I mean, when he mostly just debated right-wingers, right? And he presented himself as a social democrat. And then he wanted to defend being able to say the N-word as a white guy. And then there was a whole ordeal around that. And then when we had a falling out because of that, he never let it go. He just did not stop consistently hounding me. And not just me, but basically anyone he ever encounters that he doesn't like. What ends up happening is you're only, like, in my experience, the only people that he actually doesn't do this like mass stalking and mass smearing operation are people that he calls orbiters, right? People that don't actually ever try to go independent. They just like kind of stay on his good side. And the moment that they actually go, I don't actually agree with you, and God forbid, embarrass him in a conversation, he will literally utilize his community to stalk and harass people until the ends of time, really. And this actually happened with his orbiters recently, in the last like year or so, where a lot of his orbiters, actually self-described orbiters, were like, oh, I don't think this guy is actually good. I don't think this guy is consistent at all. Maybe we were just kind of duped by the way he was presenting this elaborate argument, usually around enmity, developing enmity towards people who have debated him in the past, right? And they're now suffering from that impact. I've met people in the real world that claim this about you in regards to H3. That's really funny, especially considering that if you're in here for an extended period of time, you know the truth about that. I never talked about Ethan Klein after our podcast ended, only until he made this content nuke that he thought would actually destroy my career in what happened to be the most impactful year that I've had in my career as a political commentator. And even then, I rarely ever talk about him in comparison to how much he talks about me. I didn't just actually refuse to talk about him. I did defend him quite a bit. In a lot of these circumstances, I think that anger and that resentment and that frustration, especially because it's usually devoid of like a consistent worldview, ends up burning the person themselves, right? Like whether it be Destiny or whether it be Ethan Klein, like all of that anger and resentment and consistently trying to smear people that you had any relationship with whatsoever ends up actually harming you. It ruins your career. It ruins your focus. It causes you to... I found them. Yarım saat bekle. Sağ ol. It causes you to... It causes you to fall apart, really. And members of this community did the same thing to others, so I think you should call it out more often. What do you mean? I don't entertain that sort of behavior at all. I actually famously tell my audience not to do that, not to brigade, not to do any of that. So I don't know what you mean by that. At most, I have said, if you see someone... At most, I have said, if you see someone lying about something that's like easily identifiable, right, about me, you can correct them. And the best course in that situation, the best course correction in that situation is to simply say, like, go watch this YouTube video or go watch one of his podcast appearances, and you'll pretty much understand that, you know, this is not correct. Because that's it. In most circumstances, when people actually do come in here, and not with like hatred, but when people come in here to be like, what's this guy about? I've heard a lot of negative things about him. They usually find out that a lot of those things that they're talking about are just completely incorrect. Harassing other content creators because of perceived slight. Okay, Explain what you're talking about. Because anytime I talk about any other content creator, I always say, don't go in there. If I catch you in their chat, I will hook you. I will ban you. Right? It really depends on your mood, though. If you accept scrutiny from chat, sure. Especially those who are close to you. Chatter. What are you actually talking about? Why do people always do this vague gesture? Like, I hate that so much. Like, I hate vague posting in the chat when I'm literally responding to you. There's got to be a reason why so many people who actually encounter me in a normal setting turn around and go, yeah, maybe we were wrong about this guy. Maybe we were told that he's like the biggest villain of all time. When I was a right-winger back before BLM, I always thought you were a crazy person. I haven't watched you. The moment I decided to educate myself, I watched you and agreed. That's literally what happened to me. I always thought you weren't a real leftist and misogynistic, etc. After I finally checked you out for myself, bored at work, I found I really appreciated the way you present and critique info. Hell yeah. Yeah, I always tell chat not to tap the glass. Always. All right, let's get to Donald Trump potentially dying.
The Wall Street Journal reached out to the White House with reporting that said those close to the president say he is showing signs of aging. This led the president to give the Journal an impromptu interview, an interview that was published today. Now, the president told the Wall Street Journal his excessive hand bruising is caused by the amount of aspirin he takes, saying it's more than his doctors recommend. He says he regrets getting advanced imaging because it generated so much scrutiny over his health. He also denies falling asleep during events like this one you see here, saying he's simply, quote, blinking. While at the same time, he admits he's, quote, never been a big sleeper at night. Now, we also learned the president will not be exercising as part of his New Year's resolution. He called it boring. CNN's Elena Treen starts us off today. And Elena, let's step back for a moment. What are some of the specific concerns the Journal outlines that people close to the president have had related to age?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. One, I mean, the falling asleep.
Don't listen to the doctor, Trump. Don't do it. You know better. You know better, Mr. Trump. Mr. President, you know the most. You have the best brain. You are big and beautiful. Do not listen to silly, woke, gay doctors. And what is the gayest? Medical advice. Ugh, okay.
Dozing off. I know, I love that line. It's like I say that when I'm like, can't stay up too late with my friends.
I hate
I'm just
exercising
resting my
too.
eyes.
You're right.
But
I gotta pee.
That's part of it. But a lot of it is the heavy bruising. I mean, there was a great anecdote in this Journal piece about how Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, she was wearing a ring and like accidentally, grazed the president's hand, and he started bleeding from it. They've talked about him having thin skin. That's one example. But you see the heavy bruising. I mean, we have great photographers at the White House all the time capturing heavy makeup, bandages on his hand, him trying to shield his hand from the cameras. That's